We know, like us, our listeners spend countless hours every week taking care of loved ones. But most probably don't have an estate plan. Sampson McPhee Lawyers can help.
Estate planning allows you to make the big decisions now, like who will take care of your kids if you pass away, and allows you to control how your assets will be distributed and managed.
Estate planning is extra important for parents, common law partners, and people with blended families.
Call Kelly at Sampson McPhee at 902-563-5906 to find out about special pricing for our listeners.
Hi, Jess.
Yes. First of all, hello. I feel like you just got in. Like,
hello.
You came in, and I didn't even see you yet.
I know. Hi.
You boomed into this house, and you were just like,
I was late, so I had a few minutes.
I feel like we didn't even say hello to one another. Hi.
I gave you. How are you? I gave you a little arm rub over there. Like,
jeez,
hello.
Louise.
I tried to run this morning to beat the heat, and I
oh
went.
My God.
I went
like a terrible
early
decision.
enough. Yeah, I didn't beat it. There was no beating the heat today.
Nah.
So. Anyway,
based
I made
on what
it. I'm
we've
here.
been seeing on Instagram lately, it's not even safe to run. So,
well, we're going to talk. Yes, it is. We're going to talk about that. But hi, nice to see you. But I had a job to do when I got in here. I had to hook all this stuff up. So
I had mine ready to go.
You did. Well, sort of. You had it set up. You didn't have it hooked in.
Well,
baby steps.
It's fine.
We're getting there.
We have a special guest today.
We do.
Hi.
Hi, Emma.
The people can see you. Wave.
In real life. It's like they can see this part of my body,
right?
That doesn't exist on Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're not just a floating head.
Yeah.
Like the shoulders are.
Well, people are always saying how when they see influencers in person, they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you were that tall or that short or
yeah,
because you only see them from the boob up kind of thing." It's so funny.
That happened to me when we were at the hockey tournament in Moncton in May.
Yeah. I
had talked to someone in a meeting, on a Teams meeting, who was there, and I saw him in real life for the very first time, and I was like, what the?
That's what you look like.
Yeah. I'm like,
people think
I would never have known.
People think that we're the same height, so they can't believe that I'm so much taller than you.
Are you that much taller than me?
Yes. I think I'm a little bit taller.
How tall are you?
5'8"-ish.
Oh yeah, I'm 5'7".
I'm tall.
5'7.5" in my basketball program. But
I don't have the exact measurements, but
I actually think I'm 5'6", but it's just I've been saying that number since I've been
I feel like you must be, because I feel like I'm much taller than you.
We're gonna have to stand up after this, because I would never think that.
She's definitely taller.
Yeah. You are tall.
I am tall.
Yeah. Your family's tall.
Yes.
Everyone's tall.
Tall jeans.
Come from a tall family.
Yeah.
Well, my mother's this big, but my brother is.
Yeah.
And my father is. Okay.
Yeah.
So, getting back to why we're here. Hello. So Emma's here with us. So for those, I feel like a lot of people know who you are at this point. You're pretty out there. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
I mean, it's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's not really.
Yeah. We understand that.
But we'll do an official introduction.
Yeah.
So Emma is an influencer in the running scene who is dedicated to shattering the running stereotype and inspiring individuals of all body types to believe in their capabilities. I love that.
I didn't write that, just saying, but somebody else wrote that.
Through candid vlog style content on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, Emma fosters genuine connections with her audience. Her authenticity shines through as she shares both triumphs and setbacks in her running journey, promoting a balanced and attainable lifestyle. This approach has cultivated a devoted community who find solace and empowerment in seeing someone with a similar physique represented on social media. Emma Flynn, let's read these stats, Jess. You want to take those away?
I should have cropped those out.
Whoa, 120. Wait, whoa. 120. We just can't relate to this at all. We have 15.
You were going to say 128.
128,000 TikTok followers.
Yeah. Over 60,000 Instagram followers.
Wow.
Brand partnerships with things like brands like Nike, Bloom, Chorus, Shocks,
Reebok.
EHP Labs. This is...
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How did...
I have so many questions.
How does that even happen?
I have so many questions.
Did Nike just reach out?
Okay, we're jumping ahead.
I'm
Funny
sorry,
story.
but That is like crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Well, hi, Emma. Welcome to the morning
How's it
meeting.
going?
We're getting really excited here.
I love this for
We're
us.
jumping right in.
You thought you were going to get fired up, but here we are. Little do you know about us.
Oh my.
So, Emma, you are an influencer, social media influencer. You're showing up, you're sharing online. Let's talk about like how all this started and what it has become now, because we were just talking before we officially started recording that like I remember you had a social media presence when you were doing embroidery, right? Because I was fascinated. I would watch those videos. It was like soothing for me. Like watching you create these masterpieces. So good.
Yeah.
Like take us back to the start. How did this all become what it is now?
It's really funny because I feel like obviously like 98% of the people that follow me have no idea that happened until you like scroll all the way back and then there's like 3 videos left on Instagram. Yeah, that's basically it. Like
I'm an OG.
Yeah,
so
the
am
local
I.
people, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I started. Like I was just posting embroidery. So for anybody that doesn't know, I did embroidery.
Yes.
Until I pinched a nerve in my shoulder and then had to give it up. But yeah, I don't know. Like I just started posting and it was like right at the time when Instagram Reels were starting.
Okay.
And back then I feel like you could post like a black picture and it would pop off. Like it took like no effort because they were just pushing Reels. Like it didn't really matter what you posted. So I started posting that. Really worked on like developing like a community, which is why I feel like that has translated so well. Is like those people, yes, they were here to like look at my embroidery, but like it was also me showing like parts of my life and like very unaesthetically, like in a crappy apartment with like not nice clothes, not nice, but like, you know, just chill. So I feel like people liked that because it was like not what you would typically see.
It was relatable.
And it was authentic.
Yeah, because back then we were hardcore in the like aesthetic Instagram feed photo era.
Right.
Like all of everything was the same like filter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were still in that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the filters.
Instagram has gone through so many iterations of itself.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, so I feel like that was like I started posting videos and then I just realized I like am really bad for like obsessing over a hobby and making it my entire personality.
Yes.
Which we've done again.
Relatable.
So I did that and then when I hurt my shoulder I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like now what do I
Like
where do I go from here?
What's my thing going to be now?
Right.
Yeah. And then I just like posted a random TikTok because I was like, I did like, if you backtrack, I did like bodybuilding back in the day.
Okay.
Like pre-COVID was like I just started training for a bikini comp, gym shut down.
Okay.
I basically only knew how to exercise in the form of like traditional weight training.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like I decided that I shared a car with my boyfriend at the time. I didn't have time to go to the gym. So I was like, I need to move because I am uncomfortable. I'm going to try to run. This is like the Cliff Notes, but tried to do it one day and I was like, if I don't post this on the internet somewhere, I'm never going to fucking keep up with this.
Right.
So I was like, I have this like Instagram page with like 10,000 people. I have ghosted it for like 3 months, but maybe if I post something, people will be like, good job, external validation.
Right.
Like, congratulations.
And also some accountability though, right? Like for you.
Yeah. So I did that and then it didn't go anywhere on Instagram. It just like flopped. Like a month later, I posted like an old video on TikTok randomly with like a Noah Kahn song.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't even a video. It was a slideshow. It was like when Instagram first brought out like having the
carousels?
When TikTok first brought out the carousels.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had just launched it and I posted a slideshow and it literally like I posted it at like 11 p.m. I woke up and I'd had like 400,000 views. And I was like, oh,
I don't use TikTok. This is mind blowing for me.
Yeah.
How that just, you hear so many stories of
and
TikTok
just
woo.
that's how TikTok is though. It's
Yeah.
like, and like, I'm sure that there are people that are more qualified that are like, no, you have to do this.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I just feel like it's like complete luck. Like
Right.
you just post something and
Right.
it works or it doesn't work.
Right.
Whereas like
Yeah.
Instagram, I feel like you need like,
Yeah.
There's definitely more
strategy.
to it.
Yeah.
To Instagram for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah.
So it blew up on TikTok. Did you run before that? Was this your first time running? Like, was that new to you?
I mean, like I had a very bad sense of like exercise and weight when I was younger.
Right.
I have an autoimmune disease. I was put on chemo and steroids when I was in like grade 6.
Okay.
Gained a crap ton of weight. And then I felt like my entire life I was just like, I was so tired all the time. So I hated moving my body.
Yeah.
I was like I had to be very careful because I could like break a bone or like something like that. So like it was almost like my mom was like, no, you don't have to do that. And then I was like, get out of jail free card.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not exercising. Bye, baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then as I grew into my preteens, I was like, holy crap, I am the biggest girl in my class.
Right.
And I am not comfortable about it.
Yeah.
Like, so like I was that stereotypical like fat funny friend.
Right.
Like that was like my entire personality.
Right.
Hated myself.
Right.
Tried Couch to 5K like all of us have like 800 times.
Right.
Get through like 3 weeks and I'm like, this is too hard.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's not sustainable.
no, like
it's
and it's so different when you're doing it as like a way to like beat yourself down.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
really the big difference.
That
So-
negative connotation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, running was getting on a treadmill realistically and sprinting as hard and as fast as I could until I wanted to pass out.
Right.
So like this was my first
So it was
time.
punishment.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was my first time doing it because it was like I had noticed, you know when you like have this like epiphany, and I guess this is like as my frontal lobe develops and like my
We age. Yeah.
my age happens and I'm like my dog is running around in the yard and I'm like I like walk over like 25 steps to go pick up her ball and I'm like gassed
Right.
out of breath. And I'm like, someday I'm going to have kids.
Right.
How the hell am I going to like keep up with them?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be that mom when the time comes that is like letting her kids go off and do stuff, but she can't do things.
Right.
Because like it's too much work.
Right. Right.
I don't know. And there was this really weird thing like that. It was like triggering my anxiety. Movement triggered my anxiety because it was like my heart rate would go up. And when you're not used to your heart rate going up,
yeah.
it's like it's a bad thing.
Yes, definitely.
So anyway, I was like, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I need to get the hell outside. I'm going to try this program. Downloaded like 15 running programs because I was like, one of them's got to be better,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Found one that like started with 30-second running intervals instead of like the standard 1 minute.
Yeah.
So then it was like I could actually do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
if you just
Yeah.
ease yourself
yourself
in,
in.
Right.
maybe it doesn't have to be so painful.
Right.
It's still going to be painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But find the way that works for you too. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
have to look like that's the other thing. Sometimes when we start these things, I think we look at like the pinnacle of people doing it and you're like, well, that's what I have to do if I want to consider
And
myself.
we just want to get to the result the quickest.
Yeah.
Like, what is the
100%.
quickest
Yeah.
way we can get here? And we don't
Right.
want to take the slow way there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the way that works for you and your body and the way that
Right.
makes sense for your goals
Right.
and the way that like it looks different for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you started this. So how long has it been now that you've been successfully running? It's been years, right?
I started last April.
Last April. Wow.
Yeah,
And
but-
you're
And talk about community. You've built like quite
Yeah.
the running community, right?
Yeah, I mean it's so weird. Like, and it's funny that we're doing this today because I had a really bad evening last night because of like, you know, one video gets on the wrong side of TikTok and then you're like, holy crap. But it's, I was explaining to my boyfriend, we're like sitting on the couch and he's like, ignore the haters. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to say anything because my community literally come for their fucking heads. Like somebody's like, go to McDonald's and people are like, we're going to find you, hunt you down, and we're going to teach you how to respect people.
Yeah.
So I'm just like hands off.
Yeah.
They do all the hard work
Who
for
are these
me.
people? Who has the time to go on people's videos and comment on them in a negative way? Who? Why?
it's
who are
jealous
these people?
People that are very unhappy with themselves.
Yeah. And it's
Holy
not
smokes, like find something else to do.
it's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. Like what we say,
Oh,
like what Peter
100%.
says about
Yeah.
What does that
Susie
say?
says about Sally, what Peter says. What Susie
What Peter
says
says about Paul.
Yeah,
That works too.
yeah, sure.
I think it's easy for us as people who just see it to know that, like, we can rationalize that and say, like, oh my God, like, look at these people, like, they're so sad or unhappy or whatever. And they're like, but to be the person who experiences it, I think is so much harder. And you have to be very confident in who you are. You have to be very self-aware. Yeah. And that's hard.
But even when you are those things, it's hard.
Yeah. Like, definitely.
When people are assholes to you, you're still like
100%. So talk to us, like talk to us about how you navigate through that. So here you are last night reading these comments.
I mean, like, I come from a psych background. So I feel like for me, I'm like, let's diagnose you right quick on the internet. Even though I know nothing about you.
Psychoanalyze you.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't know. When that first video popped off, it was almost like I had a breathing room. Like I gained like, I don't know, like I would say 10,000 followers in that one night because that's just the way TikTok is, right? Like it's like crazy. And it was mostly people that were nice. So I had this like honeymoon period of like 1 to 2 weeks where everybody was just like gassing me up 24/7. They were like, you are God's gift to the earth. And I'm like, hell yeah, baby. And then at this point, I didn't have a watch and I wasn't tracking how fast I was running. So, when you're like running, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going so fast. I'm so fast. Yeah. And then you look afterwards and you're like, literally, it's like that clip on Instagram where it's like the people like a slug. Yeah. Like that's me, a slug going up a hill. And I posted the first video with numbers in it.
Instant regret.
Oh my God. It was like, I was getting like death threats.
What?
Which honestly, I'm almost glad happened because it was so bad that I almost like desensitized to it right away. Right. And like, I'm a person that like, I'm sassy. I want to hit back. Yeah, like, I'm like, oh, you want to post about this? I'm going to go to your feed and I'm going to check out literally every negative thing that you've ever done. I'm going to hunt you down. Like, that's me. Like, I'm like, I want to think of something clever and clap back. Right. Because that's like my entire personality. Right. But my boyfriend is like, Emma, you grew up with dial-up internet. Yeah. This is really your first dibble dabble in like the internet trolls. Right. Do not say anything to them.
Do not engage.
Do not engage. And like a lot of like self-love, like body positive influencers are the opposite. They want to pull that person out. They want to put it on their story and like teach their own. Like if that helps them work through that, I'm proud of them. Yeah. I am not a person, like I will literally think about that for the rest of my day. So what he said, he was like, you have two options. One, you delete them completely and you never think about them again. Or you leave them there and you let that engagement grow. Right. Those are your two options. But he said, you never engage with them. And like, I've had a lot of people message me and be like, how do you deal with like a lot of other people in the running community that also are slower, that are not as slow as me, and are getting comments similar. And they're like, how do you put up with this? And I'm like, I just don't care. Yeah. Like, I just don't care. Like, this random stranger that knows absolutely nothing about me is making a comment based on a video in an attempt to get a rise out of me. Yeah. I'm not giving it to them.
But it's so interesting because, like, when I see people doing anything on Instagram, I'm like, good for, like, I'm sitting down in my bed being a slob.
That's what
like, I'm always just so proud of people for even putting themselves out there no matter what they're doing. So I couldn't imagine seeing a video criticizing it while I'm like eating nachos in bed. Like, it's just, I just we'll never understand why these people do this, but like, wow, like you're moving your body and why does that have to look a certain way?
Yeah. It's
like, why is there such a...
Brene Brown quotes like the Teddy Roosevelt quote, but like they're not in the arena. Like, I have no interest in your opinion if you aren't in this arena getting muddy with me. Like, if you're not out here doing your best or trying your new thing or putting yourself like through this vulnerable experience, then shut the hell up. Like, and why are people doing that? I don't know. It's interesting. I would love to know. I think we'd be like, we'd save the world if we could figure that out. Yeah,
we'll definitely have lots of followers.
Yeah. I just always say, like, and this is a little inappropriate, but I always say if they're not warm in your bed and they're not paying your bills, their opinion doesn't matter.
That's right.
And none of these little bitches are doing any of those things. So honestly, I just couldn't care. But right now, it's the best because TikTok specifically wants that engagement, right? So I have a video right now that's like hitting it. It's at about like 1.5 million, and that's my reach has slowed down. So that's a big jump all of a sudden on TikTok.
Right.
And it's, I would say probably 50% people calling me like a hero, which I think is a bit of a reach. And then 50% of people being like, flying to McDonald's. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, I am flying to McDonald's because Nike just paid me a shit ton of money and I'm going to go buy whatever I want.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you also feel like a part of you is like, I want to, like, I'll take the heat for other people? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
100%. 100%. And in the beginning, I deleted every negative comment because, and I said this to my community was smaller back then, but I posted a video on Instagram and I said like, somebody commented and was like, it's not hard to tell that she deletes her comments. And I shared that to my story and I said like, I want you guys to know I am not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you.
Right.
Because I wish that I had somebody to protect me. And if you guys are coming to my page and at that time, like it was people that would comment on every video and they were literally waiting because I was going through each day of this program. So they were waiting for the next day. And I didn't want crappy people, little white boys that run track in high school and are probably so freaking fast. And like, congratulations.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to bring down this community of like, realistically, mostly I would say mid-sized to overweight people that for the first time in their life are like, oh, wait, I don't have to lose 100 pounds before I go out and try to go for a run. Like, I can run as I am. Yes.
And I can move my body in a positive, pleasurable way for myself and it not mean like I have to adhere to like these certain guidelines or rules. Yeah.
Like screw the norms.
Yeah. And you're trying to create this positive space for them. So like deleting those negative comments is like an act of service to like that positive space you're trying to create.
Yeah. Now I just don't really, like, I'm like, whatever. Like they can sit there and they can build the engagement.
Exactly.
And people can fight over it and the video just keeps growing and growing and growing.
But it's like,
and I'm like,
which is hilarious because do they realize that? Probably not. It's so funny. Like, it's so ironic. Yeah, it's so ironic.
And then too, like, Nike's not hitting you up and paying you. Like, that's the thing,
like,
right?
You know? Tell us that funny story now. Like, Nike hitting you up. How did that feel? When you got that does that come as an email? What does that look like?
It came as an email.
Yeah.
Last year, like right about this time, I got an email from this company that like now I know represents Nike.
Okay.
I just thought it was scam.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why the hell would Nike want to? That's so weird. Like, anyway, so I was like, that's super scammy. I'm not falling for you. Yeah. And then literally, like, the poor lady followed up.
If you send us $750,000 to this address, like,
she's like, we just want to pay you to post a video, please.
Wow.
Like, and I'm like, yeah, there's no, like, too good to be true, right? Like, anyway, so it took like 3 months of like her like just like bombarding me being like, Emma, like, are you in or not? What's happening? Like, she's like, here's my LinkedIn profile, here's my profile on the website, here's the Nike team. I'm like, I want a contact from Nike. Right. You don't have a Nike email, I want a Nike email. Right. So she goes and gets her contact from Nike to email me to be like, she's fine, chill out.
This is not a robot.
But I mean, I feel like that's a normal response because how many spam emails come in to accounts of like, yes,
that's good due diligence.
I think CVYT would be really proud of me for
that. I was just going to say that. We've been taught, like, there's like training. They'd send us spam just to see if we'll open it or not. Like, sometimes. So you're like, you got to be on top of that.
So anyway, they finally I finally believed them after I heard from Nike. I was like, okay, well. And then Vince, my boyfriend in the background, he's like, well, you can fake an email. And I'm like, why did you say that? Yeah. And literally, like, until I got paid from the first one. Actually, no. When the stuff showed up, he was like,
this is real.
Okay, maybe that's real.
Yeah.
He's like, but why? Like, we could not understand. And he didn't mean it rudely, but he's just like, Nike partners with, like, Olympic athletes.
Right. Yeah.
But it was like this turn of the tide happening where they were realizing like they already have the Olympic athletes. Mm-hmm. That demographic is covered.
Right.
What is not covered is like this beginner demo that is just like going to Sport Check and buying like a random pair of sneakers that are not the right sneakers for them. Blowing out their knees. Yeah. Like, so anyway, it worked out really well. It was a great partnership. I partnered with them again in this early spring. It's like a dream. Like, Yeah. It's just still so surreal, to be honest.
Do they just give you the terms, or are they like, okay,
like, what do
you
they tell
need
you
to do this?
Well, back then, yeah, they like send like, I have NDAs, so I can't really talk about
specifics,
but
oh
like,
my God.
But like they send you like a contract, and you know, and it's for a certain amount of money based on whatever post, and like there's I guess supposed to be some negotiations back then I was like, I'll just do it for free, I don't really care. I'm like, wait, you're gonna send me a pair of shoes,
right?
Like,
right.
I'm over here wearing my like Adidas Ultra Boost. I'm like, I'm such a traitor. Like, so now I have like a management company,
right?
And like I have an agency, there's like a legal team. When I first met with them, they were like, why do you want an agency? And I'm like, well, you know, there's this story about Nike, and I think I'm gonna get scammed all the time, and I don't want to look like an idiot. And literally the two girls are like, nobody's ever said that to us before. That's not typically a reason why people would want an agency. And I'm like, well, then they're all done. They're like, okay.
That sounds pretty legit, though.
How did you find the agency? Was that like a difficult process?
Me.
Okay.
I have like in this community, these other like run talk influencer friends. And one of them is stationed out of Boston.
Okay.
He was at NYC marathon last year, and like this agency basically like the two like the lead and my manager like approached him and were like, hey, we would love to work with you. He ended up working with them for like a couple of months, and they said, they were like, we're trying to branch into Canada. Like, do you know any like Canadian? And Alex, my friend, was like, yeah, you need to hit up Emma.
Cool.
That's the only reason why I believe that they weren't spam.
That's what I was going to ask. How did you know they were legit? Like, that's cool. That connection.
And it's a really good partnership. Like, my manager is amazing. I feel like they like really listen to me when I could be like, I don't want to work with that brand. And they're like, why? And I'm like, I don't like them. Like, true, no problem.
Yeah.
Like, I really can like set my terms. And,
awesome.
Like,
that's
the last
great.
thing I want is to become like this, because I know we all hate ads.
Right.
Everybody hates ads. I don't care what you're going to sit in front of me and be say, yeah, but we're so supportive. We love that you. Yeah, but we still hate ads. Like, we're still consumers on social media. We don't want ad after ad. So like, the last thing I want is to become that kind of like, I don't even really want to call myself an influencer, but like, I'm not that kind of influencer.
Right.
Like, and I'm sure as hell not going to tell you to buy something if I wouldn't spend my own money on it.
Right.
Because I think that's bull.
Yeah.
So anyway, but
I feel like people we'll start to see through it, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
And like, I could never lie. Like, you would know.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, this is the best product in the world. And people would be like, Emma, what are you fucking talking about? Like, no, that ain't it, baby.
Yeah.
So, but with Nike, it was so natural because I loved their shoes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's awesome.
It worked out really well.
Yeah. It's funny too, because that like you say, like influencer, like that sounds like a funny word to say to like explain yourself, but we are in this new era where like we've seen that turn. So like when they become something at first, we were kind of like, what is this new thing? But now it's so like that is a profession, right? Like that is a new language, that is new, like in our dialect or whatever. Yeah. And then that ad piece, like, I mean, there's so much history of media and ads and what that looks like. And like the social media piece is so interesting because really we're prosumers for the first time, right? Like we're producing and consuming media on these sites. Like Instagram wouldn't exist if it wasn't for all of us posting on it, right? You don't go on Instagram to see what Instagram's doing that day. Like you go on Instagram to see what Emma's doing that day, or, you know? So it's like this funny relationship. But like if you can benefit, you're creating this community, but then if you can benefit and like be self-sufficient on it, like you
absolutely.
Well, and like I see it as like a way. This makes me sound so fake, but like I see it as like a way to give back. Like I love being able, like I have a WhatsApp group and like a broadcast channel with like smaller groups in my community. Yeah, they're like the people that like have been there.
Tell us what your running club is called, because I love it.
Shitty Runners.
Yeah, the Shitty Runners.
Shitty Runners. And it's like the Shitty Runner community. And like I've done some giveaways and stuff with them, and like being able to like put, a $200 Starbucks card on my story and be like, go help yourself. Get whatever you want. Like it's nice. Even like it's funny because like I'm not really a person that like comes from money. Right. Like obviously like I'm we're fine. But like I've never really been a person that could be like, yeah, I'm gonna go treat you to this. Right. Like to be able to like not worry about things like that, to give back to people. And even like, let's say a new shoe is coming out, to be able to go buy the new shoe, to tell people if it's worth their money. Like it's nice. Like, I'm not over here like rolling in the dough. I still obviously got my full-time job, but like it's nice to like have a little bit of wiggle room to do things like that, and like to look into like creating my own program and like doing all those things and like website stuff. Like, so that's really nice. Like,
and these things, like, you pour your time and energy into it, like that compensation piece, whatever it looks like for you, like there's no shame in that, because you're spending so much time and energy. Like, you deserve that value add. So that value add to it is, it's a lot, right? It can become a lot. Like, we've talked about that, like to try and keep up with some of that, like building community is one of our favorite things to do, but then you want to be able to like serve that community in real, authentic, like productive, positive ways. And that can take some time. That can take some time and energy. How do you balance it? Like, you do have a full-time job and then you do this as well. How does that working for you?
I feel like you're naturally a creative though.
Yes. Yeah. And like, I am a person that needs to be, like, I need big screen, medium screen, small screen, and activity. Like, my brain like will not focus on like one thing. So like, it has been nice to have something to like be my thing and like my passion, because obviously like when I did embroidery, that was like my entire life. I did it like every waking second. And then when that was just like one day randomly like just plopped away, I was like, now what the hell do I do? Like, how do I spend my time? Like, so the one thing that I do find is like, I feel like I run like 15% of the time, but I feel like I work on content for running like 100% of the time.
Right.
So it's kind of been like, I don't know, like a push and shove of like trying to like make all of those things fit. And still like have a life. See friends, spend time with my partner, work.
Like,
and
enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Yeah. So like, I'm taking a break right now. I got pulled off of running 2 weeks ago for some like tendon issues. And obviously I still love running. It's like my favorite exercise activity. But I do feel like it has been really nice having a break.
Are you ready to foster a deeper connection with your child and grow yourself in the process? Welcome to Conscious Parenting Coaching with Cheryl Fogarty, where your journey to enlightened parenting begins.
Cheryl believes that to truly connect with your child, you must first dare to grow yourself up. Her personalized coaching sessions help you communicate effectively, manage stress, and create a harmonious family environment.
With a unique approach that combines the latest in child psychology, mindfulness practices, and compassionate communication techniques, Cheryl guides you through the challenges of parenting with wisdom and grace. Whether you're dealing with toddler tantrums or teenage angst, she's here to support you every step of the way.
Join a community of conscious parents who are transforming their families one mindful moment at a time. Visit www.cherylfogarty.com or find Cheryl on Instagram at @theconscious_ish-mom to schedule your free 30-minute discovery session with Cheryl.
Conscious Parenting Coaching with Cheryl Fogarty, where mindful parenting meets joyful living. Because every moment with your child is a chance to grow together.
I'm always worried that I'm similar. When I can focus on something, I'll hyper focus on it. And then I'm scared that if I stop it, I won't ever start it again. And then if you've had a relationship with exercise that like was kind of like a roller coaster for a little while, like you may have experienced that. So there may be fear when you're like, oh no, if I'm going to stop, if I have to take this 2-week break, like I may never start again. Like I didn't go for a scheduled run in the first week of June. I didn't run again until July. So it was like, it can be hard, but then once you start again, you're like, oh no, I can do this. Like you can love it because you love it, because that positive relationship is there. It's like, no, I can do this again and I can enjoy it, but it's also okay to rest and take a break and listen to your body and do what it needs to heal.
Like,
or like,
athletes
right?
do not. Like, let's look at like somebody that runs in the Olympics. Do you think they're running all year? No. And like, yes, there is a very big difference between the level of training that they are doing and the level of training that I was doing. But like, I'm still like, to put it into perspective, most people can run a 10K in under an hour, under 45 minutes maybe. I'm running a 10K in like an hour and 45, hour and 50 minutes. I spend, because I'm so much slower, I spend so much more time on my feet. It's so much more strain on my body. So it needs, like, when that PT was like, you're taking a month off running, I was like, holy fuck. And then I was like, actually, this sounds great. Because I need somebody to tell me this is still like something that I really struggle with, is like, because I come from this roller coaster of exercise, knowing when I need to take a break and knowing when I'm being a little bitch.
Well, exactly.
Are two that line is very blurry.
Yeah.
And like, I have a really hard time, even when I'm on my runs, I'm like, is this pain or is this discomfort?
Right.
Do I need to stop?
Yes.
Do I need to push through? Do other people feel this?
Yes. Every run I'm on, yeah, exactly. Every run, is this physical or is this mental? Like, is this in my head or is this my body telling me
exactly,
like, slow it down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like the rest is good because it gives me like time to reconnect. I'm back at the gym, which is like, I want to blow my brains out, to be honest, because there's just such a difference when you're used to being outside and like getting the fresh air and like the post-run clarity is not there when you're like picking up a 15-pound dumbbell, like, and throwing it around, like. But I just keep telling myself like, this is all.
That's going to make you stronger for when you can run again.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly. And I feel like that is something that I hear a lot. I get so many messages from people being like, how do I know if I'm using the right program? I tried this program. I'm not progressing. I'm going to try another. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
Any movement is going to
move your body,
push you closer to whatever goal it is. Like if you take a week off from running and you're walking, that's great. That's a really great rest for your body.
Exactly.
You're still moving. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like you spend 3 weeks in a running program and then change to another running program. It doesn't really matter. There is no running program. There is no like be end all. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
also, how's your like sleep and how's your nutrition and how's your, right? Like there's so
many other
much.
factors.
Yeah. It's so true.
Like, yeah.
I share a similar relationship in terms, for me, it's the word lazy. Like, is this what my body's telling me or am I just being lazy and making an excuse or like, you know, so it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
That runner's high though, there's nothing like it. Have you experienced it? Yeah. My husband's like, do you really enjoy running? I'm like, I enjoy the feeling I have when it's done.
Yes.
Like, it's great.
Yes. And I get so many people are like, do you have, no, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Like I hate it until I get like 75% of the way through. And I'm like, wow, I have never been this happy in my entire life.
I love this.
This is great.
It's true.
Like,
so because for me, if I don't have immediate satisfaction, I'm like, I'm not doing it. So like, what tips do you have for people who are like, just trying to get started, or even just not even with running, just like want to move their body? Because I think you shared a TikTok, a reel or whatever about tips to get started at the gym, or like, it was like something about like if you're uncomfortable at the gym, like think of these few things or something like that. Like, so like what tips do you have for someone just get started, just do it? Because
well, I think something to hone in on is like we all, you got to be really, really honest with yourself and you need to like meet yourself where you're at. Like I needed to have a very difficult conversation with myself where I was like, Emma, I cannot comfortably run a minute right now. Like chill the hell out. You're not going to go into this program and try to run 45 minutes when you can't run a minute. That's bull. Like stop. So where you're saying right there, like you want that instant gratification. You want to feel that like the good, happy vibes. Okay. So how far can you run right now? Can you run a minute? Can you run 30 seconds? So you start there.
Yeah.
Right.
You start there. Even if you're going for a walk and you're going to end your walk with a 30-second running interval and you're not going to go balls to the wall.
Yeah.
You're just going to try to enjoy it. And then when you finish that, I bet you're going to feel better about yourself. I bet you're going to be like, hell yeah, I did that.
I did it.
I did that.
Yeah.
And then the next time, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just a little. And like, I think really, I hate when people are like, you just need to ease in, but it's so true. Like, you really need to just like find something. You need to set an attainable goal. And if that goal is that you're going to run for 5 minutes, okay, then you're going to build yourself up to 5 minutes. Like my attainable goal, and I mean, all you see on Instagram right now is everybody's running a marathon or half marathon. Oh my God, everybody. And their mother is running a marathon. Like, that is not attainable for me. It would take me 9 hours to run a marathon.
And it can be confusing because you're like, oh, can all these people run a marathon? 1% of the world can have run marathons.
Yes.
You just see that population of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
1%. It's like, it's crazy stats if you think about it. So it's not everybody.
And that's the thing. It just seems like, because that's what's popular.
You have to remind yourself of that.
Training, right? That's the new age of Fitspo.
Yeah.
And it's just diet culture and like the fitness industry finding different ways to target vulnerable people. And that is all that it is. And they know that if they can sell their Nike Alpha Fly to you because you think you got to run that for a marathon, they don't give a shit about your mental health. They don't care if you break a bone or a leg the next week. They don't care. They just want to sell you that pair of shoes. So like block all of it out. Wear the ugliest pair of sneakers you have, wear the ugliest outfit you have, do whatever feels good. Like just focus on yourself for 1 minute and like block out that time. For me, it was, I physically could not, and the time was there, but I could not make the time because my relationship with myself was so poor that I didn't respect myself enough to carve out that time.
To prioritize that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there were so many other things, and especially like you guys are moms, right? Like, like there's 800 other things you could be doing instead of taking that small period of time. So if you say to yourself, like, this week, I'm going to go outside for a walk, or I'm going to go on my treadmill and I'm going to run for 1 minute and I'm going to see how many times I can do that. And I'll take as long of a break between runs as I need to, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And I just need to do it this once this week. And then you actually feel, you accomplish it, you get the serotonin and you want to do it again instead of setting yourself up for failure. So if you do it simply and you break it down, and you work on just spending that time with yourself and doing whatever feels good. If that means that you're supposed to run that day, but you're too tired and you just want to literally walk to the end of your driveway for 5 minutes, it's still like creating that habit loop of prioritizing yourself for that 5 minutes.
Taking the time.
And then once you start feeling good, action creates energy, right? So like it's like a circle. It'll just keep building.
Yep.
I love that. Action creates energy. Get that on the t-shirt. Yeah. And there is like a component too of that, like comparison is the thief of joy piece, right? So it's like I think I've seen you talk about this before, Emma. It's like, don't say I just ran a 1K or whatever. Like, take the just out of it. Like you ran whatever you ran.
Yeah.
And full stop. Like you did it. You made a goal and you did it. And I do know like sometimes those things are there for the person doing it, not for the people reading it. Like I do think that for some people. For some people I don't think it is. But
it's them
is
justifying it to themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Or like that note. Like when they look back at their activities, they can say like this is what was going on. But I'm like, there's a private note part for that. Like you jot down those things in that area that's like, so I know like this is what was going on that day. Like keep track of your body for whatever reason. But like, yeah, it's really funny when you put it that way.
Yeah.
Do you think like through this past year of running or this like new journey that you're kind of on, this community that you're building, like has your relationship with your body changed? Like you're talking about what your relationship was like as a teenager and going into your 20s. Like what does it feel like now for you?
I spent my entire life focused on taking up less space and like truly to the core. Every single time I exercised, it was with the sole purpose of losing weight. Every time I tracked a macro, every time I ate a salad, because I'm being good, I'm trying to be good. Like I was always the bigger girl in all of my friend groups. I carry my weight so differently. So like I weigh like 235 pounds. Like for a female, that's like obese. I'm 5'4". Like, but because my legs are so big, I have so much muscle mass. For the first time in my life, I can look at myself and be like, look at how strong my legs are.
Yes.
Like those chunky thighs are strong as hell. Like, and I think that's why I have such a different like relationship going into the gym this time is because for the first time I'm not going there to lose weight. I'm going to get stronger. Like, I'm doing this to contribute to running because that's my goal. I want to be able to run until I'm 70 and be strong and like everything contributes to that. But it took a really long time and like you got to gaslight yourself into it. You really do. Like you just got to keep repeating it to yourself over and over and over again, and you're not going to believe it all the time. And that's what I feel like people don't understand is like they think that it's going to be like this check mark, this checkpoint, I guess. Like they're going to get to this point where all of a sudden they're going to stop thinking negatively about themselves. I think negatively about myself all the time. Like we all do. Like, but what you have to just try to do is like consistency over perfection for everything in your life, of course. So if I'm going to say 7 negative things to myself in a week, I'm going to try for at least 4 of them to come up with something that's positive.
Right.
And have it not be externally motivated.
Right.
Like, try to find something like, man, I'm so proud of my heart rate on that last run.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah. Like, I did a really good job at, like, slowing down and listening to my body.
Yeah.
Or, like, I'm so proud that when I felt a pain, I stopped instead of pushing through it. Like, really trying to, like, shift that focus. But it takes so much work. And it takes, honestly, it's way more work than running.
Yeah.
And it's way more work than posting on the internet.
That's so true.
It's like a daily battle with yourself, but it does get so much easier because you'll start catching yourself. You'll be like, oh, like, I look really nice today. Like, I'll go to my boyfriend Vince and I'll be like, do you see how pretty my hair looks today? And he's like, did you just say that to me? And I'm like, yeah, because I do look pretty today. And he's like, hell yeah, you do. Like, good job, babe. Like, and then you feel a little stupid. You're like, God, I'm so conceited. Like, because we live in this society where, like, if you say something nice about yourself, you're like this stuck up.
You can never win. It's like, don't talk to yourself like that. You need to, like, talk to yourself better. And then it's like, whoa, you're so cocky. You're gonna think you're. And it's like, well, what do you want me? You want me to love myself?
There's
or hate
no
myself?
winning.
Like, what the?
So just do what makes you happy.
And
100%.
comparison is the thief of joy. Like, we've talked about it
is.
so
Truly.
often. But, like, you need to, I mean, we, like, the running, we talk about it all, like, every race, you're in a race with yourself from last time. It's not your person next to you. You know what I mean? If you live that way, you'd never, like, you would never be happy. You'd never be satisfied. Like, there's always going to be someone, whatever. So it's like, it has to be with yourself. It has to be for you in some way, or like for that life you want, or that family you want, or that, you know?
Yeah.
And I just think of how important it is, like, going back to you saying, thinking about, like, if you, when you want kids, or if you want kids in the future, and like, you want to be able to be active with them and whatever, but it's also that piece of, like, how you talk about yourself to your body, or how you look in the mirror, and how you say, like, my hair looks beautiful, my thighs are strong, because they're watching, like, they're listening, they're learning that.
Everybody around you is, though.
Exactly.
It's not just, like, we always think we're like, oh, but the younger people, like, now I'll catch my mom saying something, and I'm like, listen, Linda.
Yeah.
We don't talk like that anymore.
That video?
Okay?
That's right.
Like,
so it you know, you fill up your cup overfloweth, or whatever that saying is. Like, I don't know, but, like, it does. It's like the energy you surround yourself with.
100%.
Right? Like,
that's contagious for sure. And I think it matters most to our peers too. Like, when I see my friends, like, loving themselves, like, just hearing you're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, girl. And I'm like, yeah, I am proud for that.
And then it makes you feel more comfortable about saying something positive to yourself.
Exactly.
Right? You're like, well, if Emma can say that, like, maybe my hair looks really good today too, actually. Like,
like, you can do it.
Yeah.
Your hair does look fabulous.
It does.
Thank you so much. Amazon curler. Everyone's linked in my bio.
Where can people find that bio? Where should people be following you if they haven't been yet? Where can they find you?
My ad is It's M Flynn, 2 N's, and that's across the board. I think I've reserved every name now.
What's next? Like, do you envision yourself, like, would you want to do this full time someday, or no? Do you like it that it's like a hobby?
I really like it right now. I'm at the point where, like, I'm starting to run out of time. So changes need to be made in some capacity. So, like, whether that's like a social media manager to help with, like, you know, commenting and things like that, like, or like, I don't know. I'm starting to get to the point where, like, I'm identifying that, like, I need to make a change.
You gotta source out.
You need help.
Yeah.
There's professionals for that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes
work.
You have to
smarter, not
What
harder.
did we say? You have to spend money to make money.
That's
100%.
Yeah.
That's our tax write-off, baby.
Yeah. You can write it off. The day, you know, Schitt's Creek. Do you know that? Who writes it off? You know, the write-off people.
Who pays for it?
I don't know, nobody. The government.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what about running? I know we're talking, like, each day and that consistency over motivation piece, but, like, is there goals for you in terms of running? Do you have some ideas or loose?
I said that 2024 was the year of the half marathon.
Okay.
That's not happening anymore.
Okay. Just pivot.
And that is okay. It's
great.
Coming to terms with that, right?
Yeah,
like,
great.
right now, my goal is to strengthen up,
Yep.
fix my injuries, and fall back in love with running.
I love that.
Because I just feel like the last couple of months have been, I had my 10K race. That went super great.
Yeah, congrats
and then
on
it was
that.
literally like all downhill from there. Injury. Because I ran when I shouldn't have.
Right.
And I shouldn't have run the race. I was injured going into it. I knew I was. My coach told me not to do it. And I was like, you don't know me.
Yeah.
It's almost like we pay people to do these things.
Yeah.
You know, like professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just need to get back into, like, if you go back in my Strava, you'll just see bad run, or no title, because I literally could not. I was so disappointed in myself afterwards because I wasn't getting, not because of the performance, because I don't care, but I wasn't getting the happy chemicals.
Right.
Like, they were not coming. And I also hate the heat. So now is a really good time to kind of like chill out, focus on the gym, and then in August, start working towards those building blocks again. And maybe, I don't know, I did Fredericton last year, so maybe I'll go back and try to do a 10K again. I don't know. We'll see.
That's awesome.
Someday I'll run NYC. But
that's exciting.
not for a long time.
Yeah, but that's exciting.
Yeah.
Long-term goals. They're important. Right?
Yeah.
Gives you something to
I have the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. You're just a baby.
We recently talked, last question, we'll wrap it up. We recently talked on Instagram. I posted a story the other day after a run about just feeling like unsafe sometimes, or just not necessarily unsafe, being hyper vigilant and aware because I'm in a female body, for a run by myself. And my husband thinking like, I think you're overthinking this. I'm like, bud, everyone thinks like a lot of people feel this way. And I'm like a white, able-bodied, mid-30, whatever, female in a pretty safe neighborhood. So like, I know that like other pieces of identity would compound these feelings of hypervigilance. Do you feel that way? I'm interested.
Yes,
okay.
all the time.
Okay.
I am a true crime girly.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm not anymore. Because I had to slack back because it was to the point that it was like my anxiety was through the roof.
Right.
There are precautions that you take. Like I don't know if you guys have heard of Life 360.
No.
It's an app. It's like it's like Find My Friends on steroids, basically.
Okay.
So you can use that. I really highly recommend that for people. If you use Strava, you can use the beacon function that when you start your run, it sends your location to an emergency contact. I always say, tell a person where you're going, tell a person how long you should be out, tell a person your route, don't change that route. And never run the same route every day. Don't run at the same time every day. Carry your protection. And like in Canada, that means dog spray. That's it. That's all we can have. We can't even have bear spray. But dog spray is better than nothing. And, get your whistle. There's like the birdie alarms. Anything you can do, and always prepare for the worst, because even like we live in a pretty rural area. You know that like bear versus man thing?
Yeah.
It could be a bear.
Yeah.
Or it could be like a raccoon that's gone crazy.
Yeah.
Like
my friend the other day ran into a coyote. It was a coyote.
Coyotes all the time.
Small coyote.
All the time. Yeah. So like, and don't share your routes on Instagram. Like, I don't care if you only have 500 followers. If you have a public profile, anybody can see that. And there are scary people out there.
Yeah.
And people will do things when they're given the option that they might not typically want to do. So like, I don't know. I feel like you got to protect yourself, and also never. Every single time I see somebody wearing closed headphones, I want to smack them.
Right.
Like I look at my old videos of wearing like both AirPods or like the big headphones like these, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
Like, what are you doing?
I know.
I only wear like bone conducting or like open headphones or one out. Or the sound is down. Another really great trick is if you put your headphones in, but you just don't put sound on. Sometimes it just makes people feel... You know what I mean? Or with some headphones, you can turn the music off on one side or the other. But keep the music down. Like, you got to be hyper vigilant.
And that's for road safety, too. Like, you got to be careful of, like,
cars.
Like, there's some...
Bikes,
there's
other
some
runners.
distracted runners out there.
It's going to be a no for me.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but this is the thing,
this
too.
is already like, you know what? It's not safe to run.
No.
I'm out.
Well, this is what I was saying the other day. I was cautious in the story because I was like, I don't want to scare anyone out of running, Jessica. I also don't want to like make people feel like they need to think about this if they already haven't. But I was just saying, I don't start a run scared, but I am aware, and I do all those things. I share my location with my husband. I tell them, like, here's what I'm wearing. Here's where I'm going. Here's how long I should be, etc.
Car drives by twice.
That's enough.
What color is the car?
Exactly.
Send a little voice note, especially if you're wearing AirPods. I text Vince. I say, send a text to Vince. then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yep. I do that all the time. And that's what I was going to say. It's not that you start the run scared, but you're aware of things. So I saw the same van circle the road enough times that I was like, they're either lost or they're watching me. So I'm aware. I'm going to make sure, same thing. Text, van, here I am, whatever. Has it ever happened? No. But when I shared this story, a lot of stories came in. People who said, I can tell you in the line of work I am in, you're validated and feeling that way. You should be hypervigilant.
100%.
Other people saying, my friend, like someone trapped them in we'll share all these responses, but like someone did circle around and try to like trap them in the thing. Like this
And
does
someone said
happen.
her friend went for a run and never came back.
Yeah, that was in a different country, but someone went for a run at 7 a.m., never came back. So like these things happen. And if you're out there thinking like, oh, I've never thought that before, it's probably because you're maybe in a place of privilege you never had to. Like my husband's like, I don't think that way. I'm like, no, but women feel this way all the time. But it's not just women. It's all kinds of people.
Everybody.
With different,
and at any point, walking home from the store.
Yes.
Like with and
traveling
I feel
alone,
like
walking through a parking garage, I would never by myself.
Exactly.
Never.
And I also feel like something else that's really helpful is like plan your route and plan your route well and have an escape route.
Yeah.
So like if you're in a neighborhood, but you know that if you can cut through 2 houses, it gets you home quicker. If you are nervous, you bail immediately. Trust yourself. It's just a run. It's not that serious.
Yeah. And like you can laugh at yourself later and be like, I was wrong. But you can also say like, you know, at least I made the choice, like the safe choice. I've done it once. I've run up someone's driveway once to be like, I'm freaked out by this car. I'm running up this house. But anyway, So stay safe, but it's just to be aware, right?
Yes.
Just to be aware. And the reason I want to share it here is not to scare anyone, but just to say that you need to like, for me, when I see people running on the side of the road now, I'm like, okay, they're on Kings Road. It's 2:00. They're wearing this just so that I can be like I'm advocating. I'm just an ally. Like I see you. And if anything happens, if I hear a story later, I can say I saw them. So like be aware. If you're driven by runners, like just be aware of that.
Yeah. And like you got your phone on you. Like, your phone, snap a pic.
Yeah.
You're nervous? Snap a pic, start recording.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. I mean, I'm recording all the time. Start recording.
Yeah. Emma Flynn, this has been great. Pleasure.
It's been lovely.
Yeah.
So nice to chat and see you in person and, you know.
I feel like we're just always
Instagram.
seeing each other on Instagram.
I know.
We're in the hallway.
I
We're
know.
at random speaking events.
And here's another thing. This is the last thing is like that speaking event. I didn't feel great about that when I was done. And I was like, not my best work. And then my sister-in-law gave me good advice. And I'll share this with you guys is that she's like, well, even a hit to first base is still a great hit, even if it wasn't your home run.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, girl, we were at a baseball game and she gave me that analogy, but I'm like remembering that. I'm like, right. Yeah. A hit to first is still great. It's not your home run, but it's a hit to first, right?
Critics.
I know. It's so true. So true. But anyway,
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
This was a blast.
Thanks for sitting around the table.
And thanks for showing up and sharing and being vulnerable and building this community.
Sure.
I know that lots of people appreciate it and we do too.
Yeah.
We'll
Thanks so
see you
much.
next time. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.